Welcome to the Prosperity Podcast for entrepreneurs who are ready to drop the hustle and earn more. I'm your host, Danielle Amos, business and success coach, certified Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant, and lifestyle entrepreneur. Each week, I'll bring you amazing entrepreneurs who have built wealth, harnessing the power of their mind. Prosperity and money are truly about energy, and I'm on a mission to help you create financial abundance through the power of thought. It's time we started normalizing conversations about money and create the wealth that is yours. Are you ready? Let's do this. Welcome to episode 125 of the Prosperity Practice. This is Danielle Amos, and I am your host. Today, I've taken a snippet out of a talk that I did. This talk was really incredibly received, and it brought together self-image and quantum leaps and how really important it is to change the inside voice in your head, to change what you're saying to yourself about the world, what's happening out there, and who you are. And I was speaking to people who were already really successful. I was speaking to people who already have achieved great results in their life and were familiar with this material, have read Think and Grow Rich and Bob Proctor and all the books and things. So for those of you who are familiar with this work, you're going to love this excerpt that we've taken from this talk. Dig in, grab your notebooks, share with us what it brings up, and I'll see you on the other side. So there are some quotes that I'm going to read here. The first is from Andrew Carnegie. He says, "Any idea that's held in the mind, that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available." Napoleon Hill said something very similar. He said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Earl Nightingale said, "You become what you think about." And Bob, "Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand." So my question to you, thoughts are things, which they are. The first question is, what have you been thinking? And not from a place of like judgment, like, what have you been thinking? Because that doesn't help anyone. It's more just like curiosity. What are my results right now? In my finances, in my business, in my relationships, health. And just take a little bit of stock. You may have done this at the beginning of the year as well. So your current results, they tell us the truth. They tell us something. And Bob used to always say this. He's like, you know, I can tell exactly what you're thinking. And for us, he'd always ask for our sales. I can tell by your sales sheet. So take a look for you. And most importantly, what have you been thinking about yourself? Because it's not who you think you are that's holding you back. It's who you think you are not. Do you know who you are? Really? Really? It's who you think you are not that's holding you back. And there's a great book by Maxwell Maltz called The Psycho-Cybernetics, and Bob often would quote that book. You'll never outperform your self-image. So your current image of you, the way that you perceive yourself, all that you believe to be true and consent to be true about you, is what's producing your results. There's a James Allen quote from As a Man Thinketh. We think in secret, but it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. And so there's two things we need to know for this quantum leap. You need to know where you are right now, and you need to know where you're going. It's like a map, isn't it? Where you are and where you're going. So in order to get there, it's really time to think. If thoughts become things, let's really start to think. Success is a system. Success is 95% mindset and only 5% strategy. It's not what you do that matters. Now you have to take action. You go first, the universe follows. But what's more important than the action you take? It's the energy behind the action. What does that mean? It's the frequency. It's the feeling that you are in. The thoughts lead to your feeling. So what are you thinking about you? And then how does that have you feel? What are you thinking about the strategy you're executing? Do you believe in it or not? Do you believe that you can do it or not? And then how does that translate into your feeling? And that gives you the vibration, the energy. And that energy makes the most difference. We did an experiment at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. There were 100 of us, and we were sending out messages, prospecting messages. Anyone do prospecting messages like that? Like either email, phone calls. So we had 100 messages we had to send every single day. And the messages were all very, very similar. We had like a template. And the reason we were sending out these emails was to invite people to a phone call to see if our programs were a good fit for them. And half of the people were in their normal everyday energy, like how they showed up normally for a call. So like some of them were like, like average, like, eh. And some of them were a little more peppy, and some of them were just in a downright not a great vibration. And we split 50% of those people, so in like an average or negative vibration. And then we did work with the other 50%, and we raised their vibration. We had them jump up and down, do gratitude, affirmations, mirror work. And both groups sent out messages. The people in a high vibration had over 85% response rate. Yes, their messages got meetings in the books. The other group had less than 10% even responses. No, most people ghosted them. And then we raised the group that had the blah vibration, and we raised it, and we had them resend the same messages, and we got them up to 72%. Yes. Energy behind the action makes a difference. Now, the whole purpose of your goal is growth. So who you are right now is not the person who will achieve the goal. Can you see that? There's growth that needs to happen. So I like to actually draw this out and create a picture, because we think in pictures. So the person that you are right now, I'm just going to pick an income, and this is a very real story for me where I came from. So in my first corporate job, I earned $50,000 a year. And $50,000 version of Danielle, I actually leased my first car in my name. I got a Toyota Yaris. I shopped at the grocery store. I clipped a lot of coupons for shopping. My vacations were, I drove to Florida on vacation. We'd go camping. I'd shop at stores like Aritzia, for those women that know, or like Zara, H&M. I worried when I opened my mail and there would be bills, especially around phone bill time for us Canadians. Sometimes that phone bill can get up to like $500, thanks to Bell. So I'd worry about money. I was living like paycheck to paycheck. Anyone relate to that? So that was $50,000 version of Danielle. And I loved my Toyota Yaris. There's nothing wrong with where I was. Okay. Then let's say I have a goal to 10x my income, and I want to go from 50,000 to 500,000. So I'm just doing some easy math here. And I'm using 10x so that you can see the difference in where I am. So $500,000 a year, Danielle, is very different. What are the differences? Well, she's no longer driving her Toyota. She traded that in for a Tesla. She's no longer clipping coupons, or maybe she is, because she likes that, to saving money as money earned. So she's now buying maybe organic food from Whole Foods rather than the no-name brands. She likes to go out for dinner more often. She gets her hair blown out. She is not worried about money. So when that $500 phone bill comes in, she sees it like no big deal. Can you see the difference? She's also a leader in her field. She is mentored versus this Danielle was not. Okay. So what for you, you want to start looking at what the differences are. The right now version of you, your current self-image is part of the paradigm. We'll talk about this in a moment. Your current beliefs, your current thoughts, plus feelings, plus actions. So you have a pretty good idea what that is because that's how you're showing up habitually right now, right? So then what you need to do is to start to think about who you are with that goal achieved. Now, as human beings, we exist on 3 levels. We're spiritual, we have our thoughts, intellect, we've got our feelings, and then the physical, the actions we take. There is a difference on all 3 levels of the version of you that you're literally growing into. And it really helped me to isolate that. And how I did this, and Bob used to say, there is a place, like your C goal, what you want in life, it exists already. There is a place. And you've got to go there in your mind, in your imagination. And Neville Goddard says, you don't want to look from where you are towards your goal. Like you don't want to say, okay, I'd like 500,000. And from here, where I am right now, how do I get there? Like that is what most of us do. We look in our current way of being, our habitual way of showing up in this perspective. And we're like, how do I get there? How do I get there? And we start asking questions from this vibration. That's a mistake because operating on this vibration will get you more ideas. So you've got to go to the place of your goal achieved in your imagination. What does life look like? And view the world from that place. Your perception changes. So you don't think of 500,000, you think from 500,000. This is huge. Huge. So from that place, and you can get there, you might be saying, oh my gosh, but I've never done this before, Danielle. Like, I don't know what life's like as a millionaire, or I don't know what life is like as 6 figures. I've never done this before. That's okay. There are people that have, so you can find them and watch them. And before you look at their actions, ask them what they're thinking. How are they thinking? What do they think about themselves, about the world? What are their beliefs about the economy? That's what you want to know. And then you can, yes, look at their actions. And remember, it's not the actions, the energy behind the action. So this is where you start to create a script for yourself, your self-image script, we call it. Now, I want to just touch on your goals and where you're going. Bob used to tell us to make this a C-type goal. So something that we have no idea how we're going to do it. So when you're tapping into your imagination, answer this question. If I had a magic wand, or in a universe where anything's possible, what is it that I truly want? If I didn't worry about how my sister or brother would judge me, or my neighbors, or my colleagues, or my ex-colleagues, or if I didn't worry about, well, if I didn't have that fear of failure, if I didn't worry about judgment, what do I really, really want? If my mind didn't say, who do you think you are? That's what happened to me. I wrote down in 2015 that I'd be Bob Proctor's protege. I wasn't even a coach yet. I wrote that down in a small letters on my page. I was volunteering at a mindset event, and I wrote that down. Can you believe like 2015? And my mind immediately went, okay, he has people that are going to be his proteges. Like, who do you think you are? You don't know this material. La, 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 la. You have no results. You're $100,000 in debt. La, 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 la. Fast forward. And here we are. So dream really big, have the courage to create that destination where you're going in 2023 so big and beautiful that it's worth it. You've got to go beyond the practical, logical next step, because a quantum leap, if it's too logical, if you know how to do it, your mind will take you out the first obstacle you come in contact with. It's not big enough to have you overcome the challenges, the growth opportunities that this year will present to you, and they will present themselves to you. And I'll tell you why. You're not ordering them from the universe. But here's the thing. As you move through fear, as you move through obstacles, and you overcome problems and limitations, that's where the growth is. When you stay in your comfort zone right down here, easy peasy life, there's no growth in that. And the whole purpose of the goal is to have you grow. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we call your thermostat setting, your paradigm. Each of us were programmed as children to have a paradigm in our mind. And basically, this is between the ages of 0 and 7. God bless our parents and our teachers and all of our caregivers. They programmed our mind. And we call this your paradigm. They did the best they could. And the things you heard most often with the most emotion, they created your beliefs. And we heard them often enough, and then society confirmed this, and then our experience of life confirms this and confirms this. And this is our paradigm. And it's our habitual way of operating. It's our habitual way of thinking, your habitual way of feeling about yourself, about the world, and your habitual actions. And 96 to 97% of your behavior is habitual and therefore controlled by your paradigm. And that means that your current right now results are, for the most part, your paradigm in action. And so the mind, this comes from psycho-cybernetics, the mind is like a thermostat. You have a setting. So a thermostat's on the wall, right? So our mind's just like this. So think about this. So the cold air brings the thermostat down to, like, let's say 65, 60 degrees or 15 degrees in Canada. What happens? You don't even have to do anything. And the thermostat contacts the furnace. The furnace kicks in and it brings it back to the setting. The temperature goes back to the setting. Same thing in the summer. The windows open and it's really hot outside and the temperature raises in the house and the air conditioning kicks in and brings it back. Your mind has been set by your paradigm, your programming. The same kind of setting exists in a rocket or an airplane. A rocket is programmed to go to the moon. It's been set. And so it literally fails itself to the moon. It course corrects itself. You see that? So if your mind has this thermostat setting and it's been set for the paradigm, what happens when the entrepreneur or the employee has a successful month, gets a bonus, sells more than they've ever sold before? Their income goes like this. Let's say you average, let's say $5,000 a month. Let's use our $50,000 marker. You average $5,000 a month and you just had a $10,000 month. The next month, you're going to go to maybe zero. And then you have another good month to bring you back to the setting. And when you average your income, you'll notice you pretty much make the same. Your results maybe go up and down, up and down, up and down. Can anyone relate to this? This was my results before I understood the power of self-image. So in order to change your results and have them actually stick so that when you go to 10,000 a month, you keep it, because it may not be that it happens in sales. I want to get this too. It happens through circumstances. So let's say you have one really great month, 10,000 or $100,000 month. And then after you make that big sale on the weekend, you get a speeding ticket or a tax bill Like, it doesn't have to be that the next month your sales go down. It's the circumstances you attract into your life are based on that setting. We hear this all the time. I work with so many companies, Fortune 500 companies in the States, that talk about this with their salespeople all the time. They're like, why? Well, we've got to adjust the thermostat. We've got to go to the root cause of your results. And that root cause is your paradigm. That root cause is how you think about yourself. And then you shift it. Well, how do you do that? Well, that work that you were doing at the beginning of the call, thinking about who you are with your goal achieved and seeing the world from that place, that's a good starting point. Write down all the characteristics, how you think, how you feel. Make a list of other people you admire who are getting the results you're getting. And take on characteristics. It's not that you're going to become these people. You'll just write about them. You'll study them and then think, if I had that characteristic, what would that look like in me? And then try it on. Now, here's the truth. I was quoted by Bob as saying, I wrote her and I became her. I literally did this. I wrote who I am with my goal achieved. And then I literally became her. And people, I've said this before on a podcast, and I get letters like, you're telling people to fake it. And I'm not. See, the truth is, your inner being knows that you're made for more. You are a spirit in a human body with unlimited potential. And the things that you see in other people that you admire, you see it because of projection. It's for you. So when I tell you to go look at a mentor or someone who's achieving the goal and write down the characteristic that you admire, you are admiring, you're noticing that in the other person because it's projection. And as your desires, as you write out what you want, your inner being's telling you, reminding you the truth of who you are. And if you desire it, you can have it by law. You would not be given a desire that was not for you. It's not possible. So what you're actually doing is connecting with the truth of who you are through this process. And as you write and you get connected to that place in your imagination on a vibrational level, you're actually connecting to this truth of you. And the growth that's happening, well, you have all these talents and abilities within that are right now lying dormant. That by you going after this big, beautiful goal, this vision of your life, they're going to come out to the table. So really, more of who you truly are, the world is going to see that. And so when I hear someone say, you're faking it. No, who you are right now is fake. You've got all this junk in your head. That's not the truth. The truth is that you can be, do, and have anything you want, anything. And it is in that order. Be, do, have. First, you must become her or him. Become energetically. And this is where we embody. So as you write out your self-image, repeat it to yourself, say it to yourself in the mirror, record it, listen to it. Remind yourself, use sticky notes like I do. Put them everywhere and show up. And in the beginning, it will feel a little weird. Yes. It will feel like you're faking it. Yes. It will feel strange. And over time, as you practice it, you'll become more and more comfortable with who you truly are. How was that? I'm so grateful that I was able to share this talk with you, with the dedicated listeners of the Prosperity Practice. I want to thank you for being here along this journey. We're getting thousands of downloads every week because you continue to listen and you share this podcast. And so if you feel called today to share what you heard, thank you. Tag me on social media, give us a 5-star review. The world needs this information now more than ever, and it needs leaders who are walking the walk, talking the talk. And I'm proud and honored to say that that's me. So thank you. Thank you for being here on this journey. It's one of persistence, isn't it? And I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to this, my growth, my personal growth over my entire lifetime. And I'm dedicated for myself, but more importantly, for the world. I think right now, more than ever, we need leaders that are speaking the truth, that actually want to see others rise. I'm here for that. Thank you for being part of our mission to not have people settle and to have more millionaires in the world. It's possible. I see you rising. I see you. As we take our power back and we lock arms together, we change the world. So thank you. Expect abundance.